It's actually a right time, right place as far as how long it took us to do it. You know, we've been thinking about the game since it launched in 1998, and it was, you know, as far as really putting it into place, we wanted the technology to be there from the 3D side to get the massive numbers of units that we want to achieve on screen. Recapturing the magic of the old, we want to re-establish that again. And then the other thing was the dev team, an available dev team to work on it that was passionate about it. And as the Warcraft 3 team freed up from the Frozen Throne, we sat down with everybody and talked to everybody and said, hey, are we passionate about that? Is this what we want to do? And then we made the decision, and so it's behind us now, it's out there, so we're really excited. As far as how popular StarCraft would become in gaming circles, we really didn't. We knew it was going to be a great game, we knew it was going to be fun, and we wanted it to be competitive. So we had that angle going, but as far as the popularity of it getting to where it did end up, especially here in Korea, there's no way. It was beyond our wildest expectations. So, and then, it happened with actually each of our games progressively beyond that. We're developing them to be used competitively, to be fun to play in environments like that. But for me, as an example, from the user interface perspective, with the original StarCraft, suddenly Koreans are playing this, and you're watching their fingers fly across the keys, and the UI swapping and changing back and forth over and over again, and going, how does it even hold up to that? And I can assure you, we didn't test it that rigorously. But so now that we see those things, and see these things evolve, we take those into account as we move forward with our future products too. So yeah, as far as how we incorporated feedback and that sort of thing into the development of StarCraft 2, StarCraft became a phenomenon in Korea, so that made us pay very close attention to sort of what was coming out of this and the phenomenon that was occurring here. And then with Warcraft 3, we've actually become much more involved. We started staging worldwide invitationals here, talking directly, having dialogue with the pro players, and with us doing that, it's definitely put in place sort of the attention to detail we need with command and control issues, things such as replays and things that we want to include, features that we want to include to help support that community and be ready. So, I mean, I don't know if that's specific enough for the kind of details you're looking for, but that in a global sense, that's how it's affected our thinking. It's just constantly on our mind. As far as Battle.net goes, we are really concentrating on the feature set. We have a lot of ambitious plans with it. We kind of want to take it to the next level, so to speak, as far as, we've learned a lot from StarCraft, moving on to Warcraft 3. We set some standards with some of the things we did with that, with anonymous matchmaking and that sort of thing, and we definitely want to do that this time around. As far as specifics, I can't get into it at this point in time. And with regards to the business model, we're really concentrating, our dev team is really concentrating on the features and the sorts of things we're going to do. Business guys are going to come along at some point here and sort of evaluate that, and then we'll figure that out. But at this time, nothing's planned with regards to that. So with the single-player campaign, we have some very ambitious plans. It's going to be something different than what you've seen in Warcraft 3. Beyond that, we're not going to go into any details at this point. There'll be future stuff coming forward, future information coming forward in the months ahead. Yes, we will see a lot of actually old favorites in the game. Some of those images were seen in the recent footage we put out, and so Kerrigan, Raynor, and some of the others that are sort of the steadfast heroes you saw in the last, you will see. And we feel that there's more interesting things that we want to get out there and tell to the public with those characters. Absolutely. As far as features and things that it's a question we commonly get. What are the features? I can assure you there's several that are actually just being held back so that we can, roll them out and let the public know about them as we feel more confident about them and as we play test them as well. As far as, one example of something else besides, hopping levels is Warpin. Warpin is a mechanic that we're adding to the Protoss that is specific to that race. It plays into the diversity that we want to achieve amongst the races. We don't intend to have that functionality across any of the others. So yeah, there's things in store that I think summarize a very different experience than what people had in the original StarCraft, and I'm really excited to get people playing it and get feedback from people. With regards to the map editor, we've actually, traditionally Blizzard has released editors, and we definitely intend to do that with StarCraft 2, and our plans have always been pretty ambitious with each game. It's even more so. One of the things that we intend to do right out the gates is release some of our art tool plugins along with the editor, but even just the editor itself is levels above what we had in Warcraft 3, which has turned into a massive sort of mod making success with things like Defense of the Ancients and that for Warcraft 3. So it's brand new, totally revamped, and it's got a lot of really cool things that we'll be excited to talk about. Yes, as far as unit cap goes, currently we have it set to the original numbers of original StarCraft, which is 200. That's not a final number by any means, but that's kind of what we're playing with. It's certainly not Warcraft 3 numbers or anything like that. We're definitely diverging and going back to the original StarCraft sort of dynamics as far as number of units, fodder units, that sort of thing. As far as system requirements go, we're still dialing that in. We don't have specifics. What I can mention is that we are going to be targeting Pixel Shader 2.0, so we want to kind of get that out there, let people know graphically, it's going to be a step up and require a fairly decent card, and you can look up what that means as far as cards go. As far as specific system requirements, we're still dialing it in, so I can't go much beyond that, but we will support Windows Vista and Windows XP and Macintosh actually too. So we intend to support Vista, but not specifically any features specific to DX10 at this point, but we're very early. We haven't planned not to either. It's just that right now we're focusing on making it play on both platforms, but not being exclusive to DX10. We still have to go through an internal alpha and then through a beta of some sort. And as we go through that, who knows, it may change. But at this point in time, we're not specifically planning on DX10 features. As far as the mothership mechanic goes, that's unique to the Protoss right now. We want to do that. We want to have very diverse and emphasize the differences between the races. So we don't plan to have sort of the mothership equivalent on each side. We want those things to be unique. What I can assure you is we're not going to release the game with some sort of I win button in the game. We're going to balance things. As I said before, we'll go through an internal alpha. We'll go through a beta of some sort. And at that point, if it's an I win button, we're gonna change things around. So nothing was final that people saw there. As far as Blizzard's sort of the public's view of Blizzard, I think there is an interesting dynamic that was created with World of Warcraft. Its success has been phenomenal, totally beyond our wildest expectations, and so I think there's a group of people that only knows that Blizzard, but I think for fans that have been around for a really long time, which is also a large group of people, they know that, oh yeah, it's RTS, it's Blizzard's bread and butter, it's it's the original stuff. But there is definitely an interesting dynamic there as far as those sorts of things, and my personal impression of the whole thing is it's great because it gives us an opportunity to let that group of public that only has been exposed to the MMO side suddenly see some of these other things like RTS games and maybe go, well, maybe I'll take a look at that now that I've seen Blizzard in the MMO realm. Maybe I'll try one of these RTSs. So, StarCraft 2 will be out when we're ready, when we're done. And that's the bottom line. We don't plan to be as crazy as we have in the past with 4-year announcement ship. We're going to be a little bit more ambitious, but as far as specific dates, you'll have to wait for upcoming months to hear.